I'd like to call to order the Village Council meeting for the Village of Beverly Hills for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Ms. Brown, if you could please call roll.
Mr. Abud?
Here.
Mr. Drummond?
Here.
Mr. George? Ms. Rajewsko?
Here.
Ms. Cascanetti?
Here.
Mr. Mercer?
Present.
Mr. O'Gorman?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. If I could ask everyone to please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do we have any amendments to the agenda or a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Mr. Drummond, at this time, I'd like to move that we approve the agenda as published.
Support. Motion and support. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, we have an approved agenda. Community announcements. Is there anyone in the community tonight that would like to come to the podium to make a community announcement? Okay, seeing none, we can move on to public comments. Is there anyone in the public who wants to make a comment at this point in time? I don't see anyone online either, correct, Ms. Brown?
No.
Okay. You guys are making this one really easy on me tonight.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes, sir.
Before we go on to the consent agenda, I would make a motion that we excuse Mr. President George from tonight's meeting. I think he's traveling on some business, so.
Yeah, thank you,
Could somebody
Mr. Mercer.
support that, maybe?
Yep.
Support.
And we have support from Ms. Cascanetti. Ms. Brown, if you could please call roll for that. Oh, we can just,
All in favor.
all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Mr. George is officially excused. Thank you. All right, we have tonight's consent agenda. Item 1, to approve the November 4th, 2025 council minutes. Item 2, to approve the November 6th, 2025 special council minutes. Number 3, to review and file bills recapped as of Monday, November 17th, 2025. Item 4, to approve the fiscal year 2025 lead service line replacements. Item 5, to approve the DTE contract for the TAP project. Item 6, to approve the Village Hall holiday closure schedule. And item 7, to approve the Parks Board Pavilion lighting event proposal.
Mr. Drummond, at this time, be it resolved that the Village Council of the Village of Beverly Hills approve the consent agenda as read. Support.
We have motion and support. Ms. Brown, if you'd please take roll.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes.
Ms. Rajewsko?
Yes.
Ms. Cascanetti?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. O'Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Abud?
Here. Or yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. Tonight's business agenda, item 1, the second reading of ordinance number 394. Mr. Rolte?
Yes,
please read us in.
before you this evening is an ordinance 394 involving changes to fire-related regulations, clarifying what kind of fires are allowed within the village, requiring key boxes in new commercial buildings, as well as updating our fire code to the latest version and ensuring that whenever a new update comes out, the village automatically adopts that most recent update. We took a look at this one. We didn't change any language from the conversation last time, although we did reshuffle things around just to try and make it a little bit more user-friendly to read. Before we had sections 18-6.1, 6.2, 3, 4. We basically just combined it into one section with subheadings A, B, C, D, E. I think it reads better. Again, didn't make any language changes, just reshuffled things around. Chief Arnold is here too if there's other questions on what this means for his department and his ability to enforce it. But at this point, I'll turn it over to the council for discussion.
Sure. Thank you. Do I have anyone in the public this evening who has any, would like to speak on behalf of this ordinance? Okay. I can open up to discussion then for council, if anyone has anything they'd like to speak about on this.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes, Mr. Mercer?
Could I suggest we have our second reading, and then if people still have questions, we could take them then?
Sure.
And if not, we could move on?
Yes. Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Ryan.
Thank you. So, good evening again. This is ordinance which, the ordinance 394 added to the municipal code of the village. It's an ordinance to amend Chapter 18, Fire Prevention and Protection, Article 1, General, and Article 2, Fire Code, and then also Chapter 32, the Solid Waste Ordinance, Article 1, which basically will foot the open burning section in this ordinance adopted to be equal to both ordinances, the same language. So Section 101 are definitions that are going to be added to the ordinance. They are emergency vehicle definitions, fire code official definition, fire watch, ground fire, and NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, and then non-compliant. Section 201 is the Article 1, Sections 18-6 is indicated by Mr. Rothy, which contains kind of reformatted definitions and reformatted sections from the last time. They're calling burning regulations a general prohibition, A and B, an open burning prohibited. C is extinguishment authority by the authorized public safety personnel. D is ground fires defined, and E are ash regulations dealing with how people handle ash left over from fires. Then we move on to the key box proposal, which is formerly called a Knox box, which is a key that's provided for ingress by a fire department for a fire event at a commercial building. So this is updated language, the key box. First of all, the purpose of the key box. Next, the key box is required. Next is key box location. Next is key box contents. Then next is key box compliance. And lastly is key box applications. Those are to be applied for at the village for compliance with the ordinance. Section 301 amends Chapter 18, Article 2, the current fire code, which is indicated by Mr. Rothy earlier. This will automatically allow the village to have the most current national fire code that's passed, as long as we keep a copy of the fire code in Village Hall and in the Public Safety Department. So it will not involve any further amendments. We'll just go along and sync with the national code amendments. Then also Section 401 is Chapter 32, Solid Waste, Article 1. I referred to this earlier. This just keeps the open burning prohibited section the same as prior in the fire code section, so that both definitions match. 501 is a severability clause, 601 is a savings clause, 701 is a repealer, and then 801 is an effective date. Should the council pass this ordinance, it would be effective 20 days after passage and publication by in the village. And that would be a second reading. Mr. Chair, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. Anyone have any questions? Want to discussion?
Mr. Drummond, I just have a simple question for clarification. Mr. Ryan, and I'm sorry, I was trying to pull up the existing code, maybe it's there. Can you just refresh me on the difference between open burning and ground fire?
I could take that.
Okay.
So ground fire is any fire that's outside for the purpose of viewing or warming or utilized to cook food, ceremonial purpose, basically any kind of fire you could have. Typically it's in the ground, and we are allowing that. But if it's close enough to a structure, then it has to be contained within some type of pit or something. There is no, that's what we're using now, is this term ground fire. Just the act of open burning. We don't have a definition for that. Chief, I don't know if you want to add to anything I'm saying here, but we're really just using one term to encompass the permitted activity that we want to do.
So it's ground fire or contained in a fire
Yep.
pit?
Yep,
Are
it's still
sort of the
considered
two
the ground
differences?
fire under
Okay.
the ordinance. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Basically, please burn responsibly.
Right. Okay. So I'm just trying to read through the open burning prohibited. No person shall permit the burning of fuel, garbage, or other combustible refuse or waste, not construed to prohibit the burning of charcoal or other non-ash producing fuel when used for a ground fire. So basically, open burning is don't burn garbage for purposes of disposal, right? Is that what we're getting at with the open burning
Yes,
prohibition?
garbage, trash, leaves,
Okay.
things of that nature, rags, things that
Okay.
you just don't want in your home any longer, but you don't know what to do with.
Okay.
You figure it'd be easier just to
Okay.
burn them. That is
Okay.
prohibited.
Okay, got it. Okay, I appreciate the clarification. Thank you.
The exception of US flag.
It's just about that. So when
Doesn't
this,
say in there, but I would think we would prefer a drop box
Well,
where they can be taken
you
to a
know, I mean, if
local organization.
the Patriots just
Burnt in
burn.
general, yes, sir.
right, well, the Boy Scouts will collect the flags
Yes.
over the course of several months and then usually burn them at Beverly Park.
Correct.
There's a box in front of.
Right, exactly, for that.
That would be the bird.
That was the Eagle Scout flag.
Okay. Thank you.
Just being double.
Can
Any
I,
question? Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Mercer.
I don't have a question. Is anybody going to make a resolution?
I'd love to get one
You're
from you.
about to, Rock?
No, no, go
Oh,
ahead.
is there, okay. I'm just going to say, be it resolved that the Beverly Hills Village Council hereby adopts ordinance number 394 as read.
Support.
I have motion and support. Ms. Brown, if you can call roll, please.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Cascametti?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes?
Mr. O'Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Abud?
Yes.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right. Let's jump down on my place here. Item number 2 on tonight's business agenda is to approve the fiscal year 2026 budget amendments.
Yes.
Mr. Rothy, if you want to.
Yep, all table set, while Director Cutie comes to the podium. From time to time throughout the fiscal year, we do budget amendments. It's about time that we did them this fiscal year. We got a little PowerPoint, which mostly just serves as a note sheet. We're not going to bore you with the PowerPoint for the next 10 minutes or so. We'll just hit the high levels. But we got the PowerPoint, we've got a kind of a categorical summary sheet, and then we got the line items specifically, not to steal too much of the thunder, but really these amendments break down into 3 big categories: carrying forward unspent funds from last year, establishing a new rubbish fund, and then just all the other ones, which we're just kind of calling miscellaneous. So I'm going to turn it over to Director Cutie to provide a little bit more thorough overview than what I just did.
Okay. I'm going to quickly go through the PowerPoint slides. Be short and sweet. As you can see on the summary of amendments slide, pretty much the entire amendment is made up of project carry forwards. So I thought that was important to point out. So I will go on a couple of slides here to the general fund. Basically, one of the items that was amended in the general fund was we moved rubbish revenues and expenses out of the general fund where they previously were. We created a new fund and that is in compliance with the state's chart of accounts. And it will also serve to, it'll make it easier to financially analyze the operations of the rubbish operation. So that was one item in there. I had some miscellaneous revenues that I wanted to recognize, different, charges for services, things like that, very small amount. And then the other thing in here is, if you recall, from looking at prior financial reports, we previously had a capital department in every fund where we would capture all of the capital expenditure accounts. And Warren and I have made the decision that we feel it's a little, makes it a little easier to determine how much each department is spending. So capital accounts are going to be moved to within each department. So like, for example, village manager department, if there's any capital purchases related to his department, you would see capital outlay accounts in there, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm gonna be working on doing that and hopefully get that most of the way complete by the time we open up the financials to start with next year's budget. So I think it's just makes things a little easier to read that way. So hopefully you'll feel the same.
I'll add on there too, real quick, just that again, and this really only pertains to the general fund, because I think all the other funds are basically one department. The general fund has multiple departments, one of them being capital. What we want to, as we go forward budgeting, it's how much of that capital was for Parks and Rec, or how much was it for DPW, or buildings and grounds, or village manager. So right now, if you say, Warren, how much did we spend on capital last year, or 2 years ago, I can tell you, but I can't tell you without actually looking at what the individual receipts were on which department incurred what. So again, this isn't changing the amount we're spending in the general fund, it's just letting us shuffle things to where they best fit for what department basically requested and is using the capital item.
And one of the final items I wanted to mention with regard to the general fund amendments is we did have a property tax bill for the Wenbrook property that was donated to us. That was unavoidable due to the cutoff for ownership. I'm not too awfully familiar with assessing.
It's December 31st of 2024, whoever
Yeah.
owned the property determined on if a tax bill had to be paid 6 months in the future for that July 2025 tax bill. So because the village
Yeah.
didn't own the property as of December 31st, 2024, it did have to pay that property tax bill. So going forward, it will not have to, obviously, but it's one of those quirks or features of the Michigan assessing system that even if you were to buy a house or sell or tax exempt, you always want to get it in before December 31st if you, if you can.
It's at 3120,
Pardon me?
31,020,
Yes, roughly.
or 200, whatever it is.
Yep. And then, okay, so moving on to the next slide, talking about major and local road fund amendments. This is basically just project carry forwards, paving and resurfacing projects that just due to the timing, we had unspent funds at the end of last year, so we're bringing those forward just as a matter of record. So, and then the only other thing in those funds is the Oakland County Access to Transit Grant. We are going to be receiving $30,000 from Oakland County to help us conduct an intersection study for Beverly and Southfield intersection. So our portion of that project will cost $7,500, and they're paying us $30,000. So we've already received half of it at this point, but the total.
They gave us an advance even though we
Yeah.
haven't picked the vendor yet. So thank you, Oakland County.
Public safety fund amendments, just some minor adjustments to revenues that weren't budgeted for but came in. Those total about $25,000. We've got just a few carry forwards to report. One of the vehicles that was purchased in fiscal year 2025 was recently upfitted, and that occurred over the summer. So carrying forward $21,000 for that, to cover that. Then there were just some other miscellaneous budget adjustments, just to move monies around for various pieces of equipment. And that's about it. Moving on to the rubbish fund. As I said, we're just kind of modifying the chart of accounts so that we can be in compliance with the state's rules and regulations on the chart of accounts. So I'll be monitoring that fund and making any adjustments that we need to as the year goes on. And a quick note about the change in our DPW operations. Now that they're in-house, I gotta stop talking with my hands. Now that those operations are in-house and those employees are on our payroll, we don't have a lot of history yet with which to adjust the budget, but as the months go on, we'll be able to make some determinations about how to reallocate those budget dollars that were previously allocated towards Como and into the actual, wage and fringe accounts. So, I chose not to amend any of that just now, until we have a little bit more history. Capital Improvement Fund, just adjusted interest revenues up a little bit. It looks like it's heading in a good direction. I think the proceeds of the state infrastructure bank loan probably helped our cash balance in that fund, so we're earning more interest in that fund now. A couple of project carry forwards totaling about $400,000. The TAP grant project has not totally gotten started yet, so we're carrying forward almost $300,000 for that. And also for the Safe Routes to School grant project, or grant construction, we're carrying over about $105,000. And that's it for my slides. And then you should see the page that has a nice summary by fund that shows you the current budget and the proposed amended. And then the last few pages are just the detail by line item, if you care to take a look at that and see the actual general ledger account numbers that were modified. But I won't bore you with all of that. You can certainly take a look at that if you're interested. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Go ahead, Mr. Booth.
What is our overall budget, our revenue, everything, all in?
I do not have a grand
It's
total of revenue.
around
32?
28 to 30-ish million, and expenditures were a little higher overall.
I could be safe and say 32, you think?
Yeah.
Just- Okay, thank you.
And again, only the funds that are amended are shown here. We still have other funds that we're not,
Understood.
amending at this time.
As of today?
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the very thorough presentation.
Oh,
It made
you're
it
welcome.
very easy to follow.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions? Anyone?
Mr. Drummond,
Yes, sir.
I don't know if we have anybody that would want to make a comment from the community, but I think this is something that we might open up.
Yeah. If there's anyone from the public who'd like to make a comment, they're welcome here to approach the podium. Seeing none. It was a good idea though, Tim. I appreciate it.
I'll make a resolution again if nobody else wants to.
Sure. Go ahead, Mr. Mercer.
Be it resolved that the Village Council of Beverly Hills adopt the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget amendments as presented and prepared by the Finance Director. The attachments are as follows: the budget amendment presentation, the budget amendment summary, and then the budget amendment line item detail summary.
Support.
I have a motion with support. Ms. Brown, if you could please call roll.
Ms. Kescometti?
Yes.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes?
Mr. O'Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Abud?
Yes.
Ms. Rojusco?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you.
That's what I get for saying here.
Next item on tonight's business agenda is approve the engagement letter with Rosati Schultz, Jopik, and Butchler for the village attorney services. Mr. Rosley?
Yes, last item of business on our business agenda today is approval of an engagement letter with in this. They're known in my industry, Rosati Schultz, and they drop the last two. For village attorney services, by way of background, the village issued a request for proposal for village attorney services, as Mr. Ryan intends to retire from general counsel, but will still be remaining on for prosecution services. Village received 13 responses. The personnel committee and I worked on identifying 3 law firms to interview. On November 6th, we conducted those interviews, and at the time, the council made a motion that was approved by majority vote to move forward with Rosati Schultz as the village attorney, subject to council approval of a final agreement. So we have an engagement letter here. And again, a lot of it references the RFP. The RFP was very specific on what types of services are included, what the insurance requirements are, and all that types of typical contractual stuff. Kind of the last thing to identify was the cost. The engagement letter before you, they did give us 2 options, a retainer and an hourly rate. I think that for just some budget stability, transitional unknowns, some particular projects or matters we'll be considering as a village in the next few months, I think a monthly retainer for this first year is a good choice for the village. I definitely think that there are going to be months in which we would be maxing that out. And again, we can't max it out. I don't want to confuse anybody there. It's just that's the maximum we would receive. That's what we would pay every month. Some months we may come in under, but again, just because we don't really know, it's a new relationship. And we do have some big projects coming. I asked the firm, hey, why don't we're going to have itemized bills that go down to the, I don't remember if it says in here, if it's 1/10 of an hour. So we'll have really detailed time accounting for them, and if it makes sense in a year from now to switch to just an hourly relationship and maybe get some savings, they're willing to play ball, as I'm sure this council or the council at that time would be. So again, I believe we will be well served by entering into this engagement letter. They will be able to start as soon as I return it to them. Attorney Ryan will be around. This won't be the last time you see him. So he's probably gonna be around for the month of December to kind of be, and so he'll still be here at our meetings, or at least one of them, to do some transition work. But otherwise, kind of intending that the first of the calendar year, we would be completely with Rosati Schultz as general counsel, Mr. Ryan continuing on as prosecutor, and then again, our labor is provided by Keller Toma, so that's not changing either. And our attorney who will be with us, our primary attorney, is Kristen Kolb. She was one of the ones who interviewed last week, just in case people from the public are curious. But at this time, happy to answer any questions. And Mr. Ryan has reviewed this letter, and he has given it his approval as well. I didn't put that in the memo, but he did do that. I just want to point that out as well. So happy to answer questions or advise the council further.
Sure. Mr. Abud?
Thank you. Understanding that Mr. Ryan's been here a while, and I think Mrs. Cootie kind of mentioned how you're breaking down components of each account, what you're spending. And I just thought, again, not to micromanage or tell you how to do your job or how to manage the firm, but maybe there's a log, maybe just for the first year to kind of just see where our money's going to be going to, what kind of representation. Is it special projects? Is it the mainstream? Just so we have a better understanding and everything is transparent. So.
That's how the bills will be prepared, and they're even going to, they offered, and I said, yes, please, to be, all the work that they do is going to be down to the department level.
Okay.
Too. So it'll be nice. It's probably going to be mostly me.
At a glance, just an executive summary, just to see,
Yes.
just for your own sanity, for, so you know what to do next year.
Yep.
Not know what to do, but what you're going to recommend to us to make sure that we get done. Thank
Yep.
you, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Abud. Mr. Ron, or Gorman, I'm sorry.
It's only Tuesday.
It's been a long Monday and Tuesday.
Tuesday's the worst one.
Mr. Rothi, so we have the retainer, and then for special projects, the 190, the language is for special projects agreed upon in advance. I'm
Yep.
assuming that's the project scope. Does that also include an estimate of hours or of time that would be necessary? Meaning, do we have an open-ended check for special projects, or will
Absolutely
they be? So in the project scope, there will be a forecasted amount of hours tied to the hourly rate, so we can decide if that's the right avenue to go for any special projects versus an auxiliary firm that might do that?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely, and I will say that I did think of a few scenarios, and some of the ones that I won't say now, because I think they'll probably involve closed sessions at future meetings. Pretty much everything I threw at them, they did not consider a special project. Special project
Okay.
would be more of like a top to bottom review of the entire charter and rewrite, as part of like a charter commission or something, which that's not on anyone's radar. That would be, probably hundreds of hours of work potentially. That's, even if it's like a 5-hour, 10-hour thing, 15-hour thing, that's likely all going to be covered by that retainer.
Okay, great. That was my next
Yep.
question. So it sounds like the majority of work expected through the conversation will be covered under the
Yes.
retainer. If it's a special project, not only will the project scope be part of that advanced agreement, but also the expected
Yes.
fee structure
Yep.
for it, how much that, okay, thank you.
Yep. And I haven't, just in the 8 years I've been working with attorneys, I don't have a good example of what a special project is because I've never come across one before. In the typical day-to-day, it's not something that I think we're likely to encounter.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes, Ms. Keskman.
Not to belabor the point about the retainer, Mr. Rothy, but just make sure we all understand. So, are there a certain number of hours associated? Like when we say, well, here's our to-do list, guys, can you get this all done in the first month? Or if they say, is there a max number of hours on their end that they say, hey, we associate a $5,000 retainer with 20 hours a week of work or something like that?
No, it is $5,000 and however many hours it takes. So again, there's some
Okay.
upside protection to us. There's no minimums or
Okay.
maximums as part of this.
So there's not a point at which they say, this is too much for us to do this month, so you've spent your 5,000 and now we're gonna start charging you
Yes.
hourly?
By way of your example, yes. Again, the only thing would be if it was a special project, which
Special
I would say is a completely different than what you just described.
Okay, thank you.
And excuse me, even for special projects, you would know ahead of time what that cost
Oh,
is
yeah.
going to be? Okay.
Yeah, it would probably exceed what I can spend without your approval if we're doing a special project. So yeah,
Well,
it
if
would
it's
come to
under
this.
$5,000. then-
Yeah, but they don't really view, a few hours of work, 15 hours of research, that's not a special project.
Mr. Chairman, would you like me to make a resolution?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Be it resolved, the Village Council of Beverly Hills hereby approves the engagement letter for the village attorney services with Rosati, Schultz, Joplin, I shouldn't have thought about it, and Amston. Did I say that right?
Amsbuchler.
Amsbluger?
Yeah, Buchler.
Okay. And authorizes the village manager to sign the letter.
Support.
Motion from Mr. Drusko and support from Mr. Abud. Ms. Brown, if you please call roll.
Mr. Mercer?
Yes.
Mr. O'Gorman?
Yes.
Mr. Abud?
Yes.
Mr. Drummond?
Yes.
Ms. Rojusco?
Yes.
Ms. Keskamedi?
Yes.
Motion passed.
My people don't
Thank
make
you.
those sounds.
I know.
In there.
I tried myself. I'm nowhere near as good as Mr. Ryan.
Mr. Chair, I just want, you've selected really well. I know what's different. I mean, in the history of the village, this is the first attorney hire and,
Yeah.
I mean, outside of Tom Dillon's firm, then you inherited me, and so, which I appreciate. So this is new stuff, but they'll do a great job. They're a full-service municipal firm. They're going to do a terrific job for the village, and you won't have they'll get first-quality work, and they'll be very fair, and they're going to do a terrific job for the village. So it's a good choice, really good choice.
Appreciate that, Mr.
Yeah,
Ryan.
thank you, Mr. Ryan.
Kristen wasn't interested in changing her name to Tom, though, because the other two attorneys we've had were both named Tom, so I tried.
It's still early.
All right, moving on, we have a public comments period here. If there's any public comments? Okay, seeing none. Move on to the manager's report.
Yes, a quieter time of year as we head into the holiday season, but a few items to just call out here. This is the last week of chipping, so everybody please be aware of that. I want to give a shout out to our finance department. The auditors were on site last week. They completed their field work in less than a day. Technically, they were out here by 4 o'clock that day, and so should have that presented to the council at a December council meeting, if everything goes well. So again, thank you, Finance Director Cutie, for your hard work there. I know coming in and getting pneumonia in the process and everything is, we pulled it off. We pulled it off. Safe routes to school, I realized that it wasn't quite clear because I was trying to type this on my phone and it didn't sync in the cloud when I got back to my computer, but the DTE poll has been taken care of. I don't know if it's been poured in this week. It probably has not been with the weather, but at long last, whatever the work DTE needed to do is completed, so that's good. We should be buttoning that up shortly. Yesterday, I had a few meetings with the Oakland County Road Commission. The first one was this project that doesn't really impact us a ton, but it's a kind of total rebuild of Southfield Road from, you guys probably know more about it than I do, from 13 Mile down to a few miles south of 696. And it's going nowhere fast, to put it mild. It's a $200 million project, and there's a lot of unknowns still, but we were at least invited to that meeting, as we do kind of are affected by the end. We did also meet with them to talk about the upcoming project. It's the study that's going to be done on Beverly and Southfield, and then how that relates with their planned improvements. So they are going to be replacing, or rebuilding rather, Southfield from 13 to 14 Mile. It's either 2027 or 2028. I don't remember if they said fiscal year or calendar year, and I know their fiscal year is different. So I'll bring at the next meeting, I'll definitely mention the correct year. I forgot to look it up ahead of time. But again, I'm excited for that project. I know it'll be disruptive. It's a few years out though, but it continues to move forward. The Toys for Tots drive is in full swing. I think we're beating public safety, maybe not, but I feel like we are. Yeah. Village offices are going to be closed Thanksgiving and the day after next week. We'll get the council packet out probably on that Wednesday before. Believe it or not, it will be, our next council meeting is December 2nd, which is kind of crazy. We did meet with the Safe Routes to School MDOT staff to go over that. Every school gets that, I think it's 10,000 or so, so we started that. Really dialogue, we won't have to really do much of anything as a village. We're kind of just, MDOT, you talk to the schools, work it all out amongst yourselves, so that's moving forward as well. And again, that's all I have for my report this evening. Oh, I would say, shop small, Oakland County, Main Street, Oakland County, they're doing a contest where if you go to a local business, take a picture, there's a place to upload it, it enters, it's publicity for the local business, and then it also enters you into win a gift card of up to $1,000. So again, I encourage everybody, if you haven't gone to our business district lately, to check it out. I know a lot of the parking lots have been open and redone recently, so again, please remember to shop small on Shop Small Saturday.
Thank you, Mr. Rothy. Any questions on manager's report? Mr. Ryan?
Mr. Ryan?
Jesus.
No, that's a
Mr.
compliment.
Ryan O'Gorman. Sorry, I hadn't finished my sentence yet.
I go by Tom. The new attorney won't, I'll start going by Tom. Keep Tom around. The mass notification text messaging,
Yes.
can you expand on that a little bit?
Yes, I've talked before about just the ability to have some software that'll let us send text messages to the rec community, if there's important things like water main breaks or major accident in an intersection. We've looked at a few proposals. We are working on picking the vendor. I'm going to be bringing to the council consideration the ability, just 'cause they're all a little over $5,000, I wish I could just do it, but I'm going to have to bring it to the council to consider, but we will be able to, should you approve it, be in a text messaging business and be able to reach a lot more people quickly. So more to come. But
Okay.
I've mentioned that in a few reports over the last few months, and we're ready to move forward with it, should council approve the purchase.
And would that be like an annual?
Yeah, it's basically an annual, it's a software subscription, essentially, is what it'll be.
I'm just seeding concepts here for questions I'll probably ask in the future, so just get them out now, how will we manage getting everybody in the village to sign up? Because I know we've had a lot of, I don't know what you call it, criticism about our email process. Like, we get the emails that get broadcast, and I get those, but a lot of people say, I don't get emails, and there's a way to do that, to subscribe, but I'm curious, how do we get that so we don't have people coming in saying, well, I don't get the text messages? Like, are we gonna put it in the newsletter, monthly newsletter every time forever? So like nobody has an excuse, or like what's the what's kind of the, I'm just thinking, how do you deploy, because communications is a big challenge in the village, and always has been. And I think this is fantastic, because this will give much quicker linkage to many of the residents. I don't know, a whole lot of residents don't have a cell phone anymore, so I'm just curious if there's an approach, and again, you don't have to answer today, but hopefully when we come back to have that discussion, there's a really good strategy for making sure there's not an excuse for anybody to come and stand at the podium and say, I had no idea.
I think that all those questions will be answered
Okay.
more.
Like a
next
QR
time.
code spray painted on the road somewhere, I
We-
don't care, but something that is hard to miss.
It will be very hard to miss.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And excited to see that, because I think that will improve especially the more immediate communications that we have had gaps in. That should help a lot, because many people get those for work or get those for other kind of communications. So for the village, I think it would be a great move. And then there's not going to be any residency requirements to get those notifications, I would assume.
Any phone number.
Okay. So if media outlets would like to keep track of what's going on in the village, that might be an easy way for them to receive okay, that'd be great. Thanks.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Rothie? Okay, we can move on to council comments. Mr. Mercer.
Thank you, Mr. Drummond. I have just a couple comments tonight. One is, I want to thank Director Cutie for coming tonight. It's great to, I know you're doing a lot of work, but it's good to see that, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you, bringing your own eyes to it, and I think we were well represented before. I think we're as well, if not better, represented now, and it seems to be seamless. So I know that was a transition we made this year, and it's great, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate you saying that.
And I know this isn't your last meeting, but just in case something happens, and you decide not to show up because, I don't know, you just decide not to show up. I want to say, at least tonight, I'll probably repeat it, but I want to thank Tom for the years of service to the village. I've known of Tom or worked with Tom since almost when I came into the village in 2002, probably met him in 2004 or 5, working on the Zoning Board of Appeals, and I've always respected your opinion, even though I haven't always agreed with your opinion, and even though we've had our differences every now and then, it is great that you've been in the village and served the village for this number of years, and I think that tenure goes to show just the representation that we did get. Again, we didn't always agree, but we obviously had good representation, and it's a tough job to come in and corral 7 people that change about every 2 years at some point, and along with administration, whether it be your public safety that you're dealing with, which you're still going to deal with some, the administration that you have to deal with. I know that it's a tight rope to walk, and I think you've done a great job, and I appreciate it, and you'll be missed. Somebody else will have to sit next to me, hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mercer. Ms. Cascamedi?
I just echo Mr. Mercer's comments. I won't belabor it, because I know this won't be the last time that I see Tom Ryan, so I will save those remarks, and thank you, Director Cutie. And, in the spirit of acknowledging transitions, I'd also like to acknowledge Director Arnold. Really impressed with the work going on over at Public Safety, and so great to see the charitable actions of the department as well, and just thanks for being here.
Mr. O'Gorman?
No comments this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Drusko?
Yes, I wanted to remind everyone that there is a Parks and Rec meeting here in Council Chambers this Thursday at 7 p.m. Echoing some of what Mr. Rothie said, I drove by the Market Fresh Plaza last night now with the lights on and everything cleaned up, and it looks fantastic. So definitely make sure that you stop in and visit some of those businesses and see some of the work that they've done with this new construction. and hopefully there'll be some new businesses soon. I was out working in my front garden the other day, and I realized that over the years, I could always tell when a public works truck came by because I like knew the sound, and I like looked up and there was a new sound and a big shiny vehicle and like smiling employees. And so that was just really nice to see. They were moving a Bobcat or something down the road, and a couple days later, somebody had stopped in my front yard to check a fire hydrant, and like they were just beaming and happy, and so, you know, I want to welcome them as officially being part of the team, even though they kind of always have been. Public safety, your social media has been great lately. You know, we had that water main break the other day, and it was put out and shared through the village and everybody else, and usually people would be coming to me asking me like what's going on, and I'm trying to find out, and so it's just so appreciated from both administration and public safety to have that and share it, so there's different opportunities for people to see the information. I'm really looking forward to the texting as well. I think that's going to be great. And since Mr. George is not here tonight, I will give a shout out to Groves football. They're moving on to the regional championships this Saturday against Dexter. So best of luck to them. And Mr. Ryan, like we said, I'm sure we'll see you again soon, but.
December 2nd.
But thank you for your years of service to the village, and I hope that you enjoy having Tuesday nights to yourself.
I won't know what
That's
to
all
do
I-
with myself, but.
You're gonna be watching.
Wait, so this is not his last meeting? right?
No.
Correct.
Just checking.
Mr. Drusko, if I may. The Groves team actually won regionals on
Oh, this is the
Friday.
semis.
So, yeah, so it's actually the
Okay.
semi-state, one more week,
That's right.
and they could
Thank you.
be at Ford Field, but
Yeah.
it's one game at a
Talk
time.
about that next week, yeah.
Yeah, don't
We can
jinx it.
celebrate that at the next meeting.
Right?
Thank you.
Thank you. That's on him.
Mr. Abud?
Yeah, I'll be very brief tonight. So, SEMCOG, I was elected to the Transportation Coordinating Council, better known as the TCC, and attending my first meeting this Thursday, November 20th at 9:30 a.m. SEMCOG facilitates funding, decisions, and discussions related to the region's transportation system, starting with the TCC Council. We help broaden perspective by including economic development, environment, workforce, and education voice, align planning initiatives between stakeholders at local and regional levels, and improve project coordination between stakeholders at local and those same levels, and enhance regional outcomes through aligned performance measures. Michigan Municipal League, as I mentioned, I'll be attending the Elected Officials Academy Board meeting in January of 2026. Cable Board, I have a meeting coming up tomorrow morning at the Village Hall here. It's 8:45, but I keep saying 8:30, so
It's 7:45.
okay, thank you. Great, yeah. I will be at that meeting.
And out early tonight.
Next is hoping to start to move into the 400 Lincoln Building by June of 2026. So the details all forthcoming, and I'm sure we'll know more about it, but we need to start thinking about increasing our ongoing support of the nearly 600 50-plus adults who attend Next on a daily basis. And Senior Advisory Council, we're just trying to get new council members to fill the 19 districts that our county commissioners oversee, the 39 community and senior centers. That's all I have this evening. Thank you. And thank you for the audience today. Thanks for public safety. Thanks to the finance director, to the village manager. I just want to thank everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abud.
Tom, I'll thank you next week or next month.
My comments are pretty short. Thank you very much for everyone for bearing with me this evening in Mr. George's absence.
You did a great job, Mr. Drummond.
Thanks. And I know everyone's already said thank you to Director Cudi for her work tonight and to Mr. Ryan. So we will see you at another meeting. So I'll hold that till then. With that being said, if I had a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Support.
all in favor?
Aye.